Hello Gundam Nightingale fans and anyone that likes Mobile Suit Ensemble. This will be my very first Mobile Suit Ensemble. And the reason why is if you think Converge figures are expensive, these are even more ridiculously priced. So I'm not sure if this is like a Bandai exclusive because it does say EX, like extra special 26. But let's take a look. I like the Nightingale. It's my favorite. I think it's one of my favorite Gundams, maybe the favorite, because there aren't too many fat Gundams. And this is a fat looking Gundam with 6 billion thrusters on it, so I rather like it. I actually did build a model kit of the cross silhouette. This is what this is, but I gotta give credit to whoever did this. It looks awesome. You should probably write your name on your photographs. Good job, good job. Alright, let's get to this. So this thing came out in 2021, and it's got some sort of sticker, licensing sticker I guess. Bandai is the company that made this thing. Display stand, and then there's also a new, I guess these two fight each other. I haven't seen the cartoon where this happens though. So high new, oh that's the high new is EX27. I don't really like the design of it too much, so that's why I haven't bought it. Alright, you can go to a website and see the other Gashapons they have. There it is in flight mode. Nothing on the bottom. And then here. I think this possibly is new. This is I don't know if it's gonna be like a model kit or what. It's similar to Converge. It's all bagged up and painted, I think. Well, let's get into this thing. That's a pretty big base. So, I don't know, maybe this thing is gonna be big. Let's find out. You gotta be really careful about opening these bags. On several occasions I've thrown out the bag and there's still parts in it. I guess maybe it's because I'm doing the video. I'm trying to make a smooth video instead of actually looking at what I should be doing. Okay, that's definitely model kit like right there. But see, this part has some paint on it, so that's great. I really don't like making model kits. Yeah, but a lot of things are on runners, and that means you're gonna have a lot of nub marks, and so the only way to make nub marks look nice is to repaint it. Oh, I really don't want to have to repaint this. I wasn't looking forward to a model kit. Well, let's see what it looks like as it is. There's a lot of bags here. I haven't even kept count, but it's a lot. Yeah, I need some clippers. So these parts must be rigid plastic. That's why they have the cardboard to try to keep them from getting bent or broken during shipping. Well, this thing's gonna be a lot bigger than I thought. This might actually be close to that cross silhouette size. Definitely bigger than the Converge, which I have reviewed, if you want to look that up. Two more. Oh boy. Oh, that was probably an arm assembly maybe? Well, it's a good thing they're instructions because this has a lot more parts than I thought it would. I was kind of hoping a lot of it would be assembled already, like Converge does, but it looks like absolutely nothing is assembled at all. It's basically is a model kit with some parts already painted. There's nothing on the back. Alright, step one. You know what? I'm going to come back after I clip all these parts off. Boy, I spent a lot of time cleaning up these parts. Be mindful that a lot of the parts are actually PVC, like this leg. And you really can't clean up the tear-offs, you know, because you can't really sand a rubbery type of material. It just doesn't work. You just got to clip it as good as you can. Alright, well I went and assembled like half of it, so you don't have to see me do duplicate assembly. But we'll follow the instructions here. So saying start with the arm. So this is the left arm, I guess, and we're going to pop in the hand here. Yep, makes sense. You got to put the elbow joint together, and they're actually not the same diameter. These are the smaller of the hinge joints. The larger ones are for the legs. But let me try to push that together. So you can see, you know, on the left, the diameter is, hold on, there, it's bigger, right? And so if you look into the arm itself, there's a recess. So the bigger diameter goes in. So it's basically facing, it's kind of on the same side as the hand. The smaller one, you know, is on the more or less invisible. Okay, so then that pegs into this red part of this piece that has what looks like cloth material, and that is that arm there. Alright. Number 2, it just says put together one of the beam sabers. Pretty straightforward. It is a peg, and just pop that on like so. That's actually kind of loose. Possibly you might want to glue that together. Number 3, we're going to do the legs. I went and assembled this one, but we'll put the foot bottom. Almost all the parts have a left and right labeling, so L, right? And then this one has L up here, so although I mean it's pretty obvious the shape of it. It's not a symmetric foot. So yeah, this red is soft plastic, whereas the black is hard plastic. All right. The bottom of the skirt here, again we have an L, and we have this peg with 2 flanges, I guess, 2 slots, I suppose, on it. It's kind of hard to get in there. So because this is a soft rubber, this red, it's kind of like gripping that, you know. There's no way that's gonna fall out. So now we'll just pop that on. Okay, simple enough. So now the bigger hinge joint is for the leg. Obviously one side has a peg, the other side doesn't. And you'll notice this has a flange. This one is just a straight shaft. And so the straight shaft is what goes into the bottom part. And this is the thigh, I guess. And that's also labeled right here. And you want to, I guess, have the deeper hole on the outside so you can peg in weapons and stuff. This is the actual peg of the other half of the hinge, so that should be on the inside. Otherwise you're going to have to peg stuff into the inside of the leg, which is kind of weird. Right, and so now the joint will rest in this nice channel here. There, so that is the legs. Now, for some reason, it just tells you should make the stand. So you got these 2 things. You can see this higher angled part is towards the back, I guess, or maybe it's the front, I don't know. But you want to leave one peg hole open here towards the edge. Then you have this triangular thing, and it looks like it's somewhere here, like the 3rd slot in. And then this thing pegs onto that, into those 2 as well. So that's a very strong stand. There's also a Xeon logo there, or is it Neo Xeon? It's kind of weird though. This is resting on it, right? That logo should have been placed, or maybe be a little smaller. Alright, so that's it for the stand. We'll put that aside. This might be the front, I'm not sure. It's got an overhang. It's almost like that should be the front. Alright, now we're going to the torso section, and let's see. So, I might as well put these together. These both have left and right, but they're totally symmetric, so it really doesn't matter. Just pop that in here, these little thrusters into this shoulder pad. It's weird. I got the other one in fine. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I will swap them to the proper one. See, but that one's in there fine, so I'm not sure why I'm having a hard time. This red is actually hard plastic, by the way. Maybe the peg is staggered. No, that's weird. I think it might just be this piece. It's kind of hard to get in. Let's try this one. Yeah, that one's easy. I don't know why this one is proving difficult. Oh, I think it was poorly molded or something. Maybe it's a little bit wide there. You can't really see, sorry. You can see that thing might be a little wide, or maybe that thing's a little narrow. Oh, I guess you just gotta wiggle it in there. Alright, so, oh boy, I already forget, what side is this? This is the right side. I still don't feel like that's seated properly. See, this one is definitely high up there. I'm gonna have to come back. Yeah, I had to trim off a little bit of that tab inside, and now it went in fine. So be mindful of that. You might have to trim it a little bit, or just, I don't know, wiggle it some more. Okay, so those are there. Now let's see. We have to assemble the shoulder joints. So you got these two plastic bits here. Alright, now I honestly don't know for sure. This looks like it would fit over it as well, but the peg is not as long. So I might have to, well, we're gonna have to see. No, that's definitely probably not what I want. I would assume. There's no actual number on the instructions. There's no number or anything saying which of these actually belongs in there, but it looks like it's a pretty long peg. Alright, so this goes to now the front end here. Sorry if I lose focus, I don't have three hands, I have to use both hands. Alright, then we have these two, I don't know, cannons I think they might be. Now that's questionable. See the flat? That says left, so no. I assume it has to be this way. If it says left, yeah, it definitely sits more flush that way. So that's just a trial and error thing here. Friction fit. This red thing is also flexible, and it has a nice gold Xeonic logo, some white in the thrusters, some nice details there. Alright, so now the backpack. And this piece here goes on top of it. But it might be better to put the thrusters in. So you'll notice the peg on the thruster is angled. And so this one, the top one, I rotate it until it sits flush against that. So essentially that's where it ends up. This is an identical part, and this one is supposed to be facing kind of downwards. So like that. And yeah, it's pretty flush. So you can see the thrusters are soft. They'll just bounce back into shape. Oh, wait, I think I may have put these on wrong. Well, let's see here. It's saying these three holes. So maybe, yeah, that is where the thrusters go. My bad. So this thing points upwards. Like that. This one is on the outside, like this. This one is on the outside, like that. Alright, you can twist them around, until they sit flush. So the fuel tanks are going to go into those other holes, I'm guessing. Alright, so that pops into the back here. Then you can cover it with this piece of red. Alright. Then this thing, oh I see. So I have to pull the nose off again. So there's a long peg on this shoulder thing, and that goes into this hole here. The other one obviously does the same. And then that gets sandwiched by the front nose or whatnot, which I have upside down. Okay, well, no. Why is that not? Oh, this thing started to fall apart. Look at that. Might want to glue that in place. Or, I guess it makes it easier to assemble this is just resting there now. But if you don't glue it in place, I think it will fall apart, right? In fact, that isn't really even in there very well. Yeah, that side's not very good. But it's pretty tight. We're just going to have to go with it for now. I might have to glue that later. This also is kind of wobbly. I want to put some poster putty under it or something. Alright, and then this piece with the hoses is the bottom here of the torso. And that just slides right on there, so it doesn't click in or anything, but it'll be trapped by the lower part. So we got these 3 fuel tanks. I already went and put 2 together. This is the 3rd one here, and they're all labeled 3, or 1, 2, 3, right? 3R, 3 left. So I don't remember which one is right or left here, but I'm twisting that. Oh, you know what? I guess this must be on this side. Oh, see, that thing fell out. Oh, that's problematic. Look at that. See how easy that thing fell out? You know? Weird. I don't think 3 is the bottom. I think 3 is on this side here. Oh, you just got to find the right angle. Yeah, so like that and that. So I think number 2 is the bottom one. So all the holes kind of want to be horizontal. So this is 1, 2, 3. That's really strange, I think, you know? I think that should be 1, 2, 3, but whatever. You can figure it out. This is kind of loose. It's a pretty long peg, but it does feel kind of loose. This one and this one feel much more, well, no, that's kind of loose too, but... Alright, this is a big problem. I'm going to have to come back here. I'm going to crazy glue this thing shut. Alright, while that's drying, I can show you this vernier. Alright, it suggests you put in all the thrusters beforehand, but I actually put this one the opposite. The only one that you really have to get in first is this one here, because it has this T-shape. And the reason why I put it in first, hold on, you gotta first put this in because the funnels are going to attach to this. So you can match up the holes here. Okay, so that goes in there. And then you can put this in as long as you have this T-shaped thruster in there. I'll trap all that. All these thrusters are rubber, so I don't think they're going to fall out because they're under, you know, compression. The reason why I chose to do these after is because since these rubber thrusters, you can't sand down the edge. You basically clip them, and you don't want to see where you clipped it off, right? The nub mark. So if I put the nub mark towards the edge, this red edge, I won't at least I won't see that nub mark. So there you can just, well, I'll try it again. Oh, this is the taller one. The taller one goes in the middle, so that'll explain why that could go in. Although this is still difficult. That's probably why they suggest you put the thrusters in first. But it can be done this way. So this one here is the shorter one. There's simply more short ones. Alright, and then you can even rotate it with your fingertip. So I don't see too many nub marks because I've situated them, at least half of them, to be more towards the red border. So no color or anything, but they do have hex holes. Yeah, that one's kind of plain too. Alright, so you don't need to worry about even clipping these off poorly, which I've done. because those cutoff marks are going to be hidden here. So you just push this in here, right? So they just basically go away unless you're actually trying to display them flying around. But these red things are also soft, so again, you really can't sand the nubs very easily because they're soft, they're rubbery. Alright, so there's that, and then yes, I do believe, based on the instructions, the short peg is what's used to mount these, whereas the long one is used to mount the arms. So those two are identical, it doesn't matter really left or right. Although if you want to hide, you know, where it came off the runner, you know, this probably should be like this. Right, have that in the back. So I realized what's going on here. The way they molded this shoulder thing, it's flattening out right there at this angle. If you try to push this down, that's what's pushing this thing up. So you basically have to keep this at a high angle. You can see that surface, it touches down right there. And so if you try to push it down, it's just going to cause the thing to fall apart. So I'm just going to leave them in the high position for now. That could have been designed a lot better, I think, but oh well. So going to the rear, so we got the two big tanks. Again, they're labeled 4 left, 4 right, and this is right on the outside. So that actually covers that part there. There we go. There we go. A little squeeze. That last bit's kind of tough. Alright. So, I guess it really doesn't matter which side you put in, because they look pretty much symmetric. And then you got these little auxiliary arms, and they are hollowed out. You can see this one's hollowed out here. So I'm going to have the hollowness on the inside. Alright, so now the hip joints here. Looks like the peg goes towards the front, which is why that opening is towards the front. So that's going to go in like this, and it should pop through, right? Just wiggle it through. This red thing is flexible as well, as you can see. Okay, so we should be able to get this up into the torso now. I kind of wish that peg was longer, but right now, at least, it seems pretty good. Hold on, I gotta change the angle because it's getting too big. Okay, the head. These antennae are really pinched in from shipping. They're more like that. But what I did is I just boiled some water and put it in hot water, and they straightened themselves out. So that's the beauty of PVC. Also, if this falls off a bookshelf, it's improbable these are going to snap off, right? Because they're so flexible. There actually is a green mono eye in there. Maybe you can see right there. I don't know if you can move it or not. Let's see. Yeah, you can. Very cool. Alright. And this, it's got a black neck. So let's pop that on the ball up here. Okay, very good. I like how it kind of blends in with this plastic piece here. Alright, let's pop the legs on here. So it should pop on because the red thigh is soft plastic. There it goes. It wasn't too difficult. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now the arm. Just wiggle it onto that long peg. There we go. Nice tight fit. Only these things are annoying. Okay, and then yes, you gotta plug these in. And alright, the nose, that just slides on here, and that's also soft material, and it's got painted thrusters there, so that's cool. Unfortunately, the thrusters on the skirt are not painted, nor up here in the nose, or the chest. I guess that would be the chest. So the last bit, or getting to the last bit, you have this, I don't know, round thing that goes onto the rifle. What's weird is they hollowed out the outside, so you can actually see that slot. It's kind of weird. It doesn't make much sense as an optic. Yeah, it's weird to have on the outside like that, but I guess it's a robot, you know, and it's hooked up electronically. You could move it into the back hole as well, but I'm going to just do what the instructions show. Alright, so that's going to, well, you know what, we'll save that for the articulation. And then the shield just has a peg, and that's going to go into that hole right there in the forearm later. And this is also soft. I tried to sand this down, but that's how I pretty much learned that you really can't. Nice gold paint on here, though, and the black as well. Decent enough details there. Alright, this sword. This is somewhat flexible, but I bet it would break if you bent it too far. It's strange that the handle is totally clear instead of red. So before we put it on a stand, we should probably just go over the articulation. So the head being on a ball peg, it can get a little angle. It can rotate a little bit as well, and it can angle up and down slightly front and back. So that's pretty good considering the design of this robot. Yeah, this is the worst problem here. Going up is not an issue, but you really can't go lower than that because A, it's going to collide with the arm, but B, it's going to make that pop off. Alright, and then the thrusters here, yeah, they're in the 3mm peg hole, so you can rotate obviously, and then it's on a hinge there as well, so very cool. Now, I can already see this being a problem. You know, that thing is just so thin and not big, which is odd because there's so much plastic here. They could have made this a lot bigger, you know. I'm not sure why. So obviously it can spin, but it's not going to arc forward or back because it's just a straight peg. And the design of the robot, I guess, wouldn't allow that to happen anyways. So the thigh is on that cup with the ball peg. So forward before it collides, back before it collides, not much obviously. These arms aren't helping the cause. And then the knee, yeah, it can bend, right? And then the foot is on a ball peg as well. The foot has probably the best articulation, even though it does collide still. Alright. Yeah, this is a problem. Not a fan of that at all. Alright. Ugh, and the front of the head just came off. So that might be another thing you might want to glue. But be careful because you don't want to glue the mono eye into place. Let's try to continue on here. So yeah, the arms, they're on that ball peg up there. Well, no, it's not a ball peg, it's just a peg, so you can rotate it on the shoulder. And then here you have the hinge joint, which it can turn around, so it can bend almost 90 degrees, yeah, almost. So that's not bad, and obviously the hands can rotate. Then you got these little auxiliary arms on a ball peg, so pretty good range of movement there. And then, yeah, noticing you got some 3mm holes here where the thrusters are, those 4 thrusters. Basically they're all over the place. Kind of makes it look weird. That's why I haven't really bought the Ensemble series, because it's got just a bunch of peg holes. But oddly, I like the 30-minute missions, which also have holes. But for some reason, it just looks kind of odd on this. I guess it's not so bad on the thrusters, but like, why would gas tanks just have holes in the end? That's kind of weird. Alright, I guess that's good enough. You know, by nature, the Nightingale is such a bulky figure. I don't think you're going to really get the greatest poses out of it. But that's not really the thing with the Nightingale. So you do have holes in the shield, but sadly there's no like adapter pieces for you to take like this and store it in the shield. So that's too bad. Alright, well, this pretty much belongs on this side here, so that's good. better. I'm gonna straighten that arm out. And the hinge kind of wants to fall apart, so that's unfortunate that they don't have like a ridge and click together like on Gashapon Senshis. Alright, let's pop the rifle in here. I guess you could take some 3mm runners, you know, clip them short, and then you could use them as adapters. Boy, can this sword even get into that hand? It seems awfully tight. Strange. Yeah, I don't know. Let me get the hand out. This beam saber handle doesn't really want to go into the hand. Oh, there we go. There's some sort of, I don't know, maybe some flash or something in the hand hole or something. All right, so that's pretty good. But really, I guess you may want to have the two beam sabers in the auxiliary arms because the let's face it, this is a much cooler weapon here. So it seems to clear the hand, but I think you're going to run into the forearm, so maybe I'll twist it that way. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these auxiliary arms. I think it's weird. Alright, so let's see about this flight stand. So there's a big rectangular peg, and so one would assume, yes, in that crotch piece there's a big rectangular slot. Oh, but what's going on here? Does it really go in this way? I guess it must. Oh, see, I actually went and crazy glued this so it's as high up as possible, but you just saw how the whole thing fell apart. So that is firmly landed up against the clear plastic now, so that's as good as I can get that. I am not even sure why they bothered with this, right? The tanks don't even rest on it, so this is just unnecessary. Strange, right? And the tanks don't articulate, so it would have been kind of neat if they did articulate, but they don't. So I can get rid of these two things. Makes it look better. And then let's get this, well, you know what, while the thing's taken apart, let's get that auxiliary arm out. That auxiliary arm out here. Get the legs in a more thrustery position. That's a big downfall. That peg there is so small and short. All these joints are so tight right now because it's new. Let's get the thrusters. Verniers in thrusting position. Alright, let me get this thing spinning. So it doesn't look so bad. Let's compare it to some other small Nightingales. So the smallest one I'm aware of is the Gashapon Senshi. I've added some paint details to that, so it's quite a bit small. The closest thing to this is probably the Converge, and I've added a lot of details to this one. But it's definitely smaller than this ensemble thing. But it looks nicer because it doesn't have a bunch of hexagonal holes in the thing, right? Going larger, we have this NX Edge. Pretty much it's a finished action figure. And this also has some weird plastic issues. Like, it's not the same plastic. This is the Tokyo edition, so it's metallic. The regular one's just red. Let's see. So, I guess we can have the little guys up front. And then the biggest one I have is that model kit that I mentioned at the very start. And this thing took forever. It took so long to paint this thing. And I don't even have a good clear coat on it. It's like orange peely. Right? But I still like it because I put in so much effort. And it's got a bunch of fluorescent paint and jewel beads and all that stuff. So, and I 3D printed some stuff for those tanks. So I have that in a really forward position. That's definitely the largest of them all, right? If you can see, sorry, my photo booth, I'm on the edge of the table right now. So that is the best I can do about getting these all in the same frame. Well, with all said and done, I mean, if you like Nightingale, I think you should definitely get this thing. But in the realm of value for Gundams, these Ensemble limited or special ones, the EXs, are really overpriced. The original asking price for this was 6,600 yen, which makes it more expensive than most model kits that Bandai does. And essentially this was a model kit. Like, I had to spend a lot of time clipping off all those parts and cleaning up the nubs. Granted, there are some painted parts that I cannot do, you know, but also those things that come on the, well, the Converge figures are expensive as well. I guess they're just mostly all expensive, sadly. And they got me. I'm a sucker for Nightingale, so dang you, Bandai, dang it. Alright, well, anyways, the only major issue, I guess, is that joint. And that was also the case with the Converge. That Converge also falls apart between the top and bottom all the time. The most engineered one in a positive way is actually this one. There's some sort of flange in the hip joint, or the peg going up into the torso. So this thing never falls apart because there's literally a flange keeping the top and bottom halves together. So Gashapon Senshis are cool, and they're highly collectible because they're so small, right? I wish they made more. Okay, well, long video. Much longer than I thought because it was pretty much a model kit. Thank you for watching today, and if they put out any small Nightingales, I'll get them. The high grade one is so big, there's no way that's going to happen. But if they put out a real grade, which oddly is the same scale, I might consider it because the real grade would have all sorts of cool details. Or even if a metal build, you know, that could happen. I think there is a metal build coming, but it's obscenely priced. Sorry, I am rambling on. I really like the Nightingale. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next Gundam video. Not sure if it'll ever be Ensemble, though. But you never know. Cheers.